This year, I hope you do what Tracy and I do, slow down and take a moment to celebrate the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Everyone here at GrowingDeer.tv and my family wish you a very Merry Christmas. Pro staffer Seth Harker's had a great season so far, with 2 bucks on 2 opening days.
Opening night success. But wow, that is cool. I don't know, you better watch first. Here, that's a sharp knife, son. Oh my gosh, it's Rambler. Holy smokes. The Lord has been good to me.
After Missouri's gun season, Seth and Chase packed their gear and headed to southeastern Oklahoma.
Oh, new GoPro on. Oh, it's pretty sweet.
Growing Deer TV is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, also by Reconics, Trophy Rock, Muddy Outdoors, Non-Typical Wildlife Solution, Eagle Seed, Nikon, Winchester, Scent Master, Dead Downwind, Antler Dirt, Lacrosse Footwear, Redneck Hunting Blind, Blood Sport Arrows, Prime Bows by G5, Outdoor Edge 9, and Flatwood Natives.
What the heck? That guy lost his mind. You see that skateboard?
As they approached the ranch where they were going to hunt, they started to realize just how rough southeastern Oklahoma can be.
Look at all those horses.
They're wild horses?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
You think we're gonna make it? Well, you better go on and try it.
Once they finally arrived at the ranch, they started having action as soon as they got up a tree. Seth and Chase were excited to see if there was a buck on the trail of those does and fawns. After about 10 minutes, they heard leaves crunching in the same direction that the does came from.
Dude, look at it. Don't shoot him yet. Hold it, hold it, hold it.
It looks to be a nice buck, but Seth and Chase are scrambling to determine the buck's age.
I don't know. Let me look at him with binoculars. 15 inches.
They decide to pass this buck and hope a more mature buck presents a shot soon. The next morning, they're in the same spot, watching everything come to life. About mid-morning, they look through the timber and spot something black headed their way. It's a pair of wild hogs, and they're fair game in Oklahoma.
I'm on him. You're gonna have to shoot. You on him? Yeah.
Chase makes a nice shot, and they hear the hog go down just out of sight.
They're different. Whoa. Dude, what is up? Got a shot right there, it looks like. It did get shot, didn't it? You smoked the pig.
These feral hogs are wanted out here by the landowners, and he said to pop one if we saw him, and we had a couple come in this morning, and we're taking home some bacon.
Got a nice layer of fat on it.
It's a nice sized hog, so after Chase gets it dressed, they've got to find a way to tote it out of those tough mountains. As the final morning of their hunt ends, they head back to Missouri with a pickup full of pork, but no venison. This week we rode down to a food plot we called Tracy's Field and took down a portion of one of our hot zone fences. It's mid-December and been cold for several days, so I'm sure deer have about cleaned up most of the acorns in the area and are going to be looking for an alternate food source. We're in a food plot called Tracy's Field, and this summer, the entire field at the same time was planted in Eagle Seed soybeans. Throughout the summer, the deer kept the beans browsed down outside this fence. But inside the hot zone fence, the beans were allowed to mature without browse pressure, and you can tell they've made a tremendous yield of soybean pods. So during late August, we planted Eagle Seeds broadside throughout the beans that have been browsed really short, but just left these to finish maturing. That way we'd have 2 food sources and left the fence hot the entire time. From now till spring, food becomes a very limited resource in most areas of the Whitetails range. But we've basically stockpiled a bunch of food with the fence, high quality, attractive food. So we're simply gonna open up a gap, make a fence gap, which will do 2 things: provide a great hunting opportunity and allow deer to have access to this great quality food during the stress period. A lot of hunters are like me and don't have access to a lot of flat land or easy places to make food plots, so they're hesitant to plant beans because the deer will do what they did outside the fence and consume them all long before the late season. The hot zone electric fence changes that equation, allows me to grow beans and allow them to mature even in small food plots. Deciding where to open the hot zone fence requires just as much thought as it does where to hang a stand. You want to think about the closest bedding area, predominant wind direction, and how you're going to access the stand. We know deer are going to feed on the beans on probably the coldest days, which is associated with the north wind. We have a regnet blind in the south end of this field, so it makes sense to open the south end of the fence. Deer will swing around, providing a closer shot, and just as importantly, if we open the north end of the fence, deer will get in the beans, and they're so tall, it might obscure a good shot. We want the deer coming out in the open, presenting a good shot and a chance to observe the deer. Come in the south end of the fence, go to the beans. There you go, perfect. I like it. The gap is very obvious, and it'd be obvious to deer too, but it's really important to note that the rest of the fence has got to remain hot. Deer are going to take the path of least resistance, and that hot fence versus no fence means deer are going to cross right here. One characteristic of these beans that really makes this whole concept work is that the Eagle Seed forage soybeans don't shatter. You notice all the pods are still on the stem, not on the ground. A lot of commercial varieties will shatter. That's why farmers are always in a hurry to combine the beans as soon as they dry out. Having the pods up here keeps them very palatable to deer. They don't fall on the ground and get moist and swell up, and easy for deer to browse, even when there's snow on the ground. I love turkey hunting, and this time of year, we can do some pretty important management to help turkey populations. Of course, I'm talking about removing nest and poult predators. The most effective way to balance predator and prey populations is trapping.
1 6 foot, I know that.
And a lot of good gifts to give away. Fur is a renewable resource. It's part of what this nation was built on. Still a great trade market for fur, and it's a great activity for you and your family. One of my favorite traps for removing nest predators is a Duke cage trap. One of the most important things about successful trap placement is location. Predators travel roads. So right here I have a road is crossing a major creek. The creek happens to be dry right now, and that's like a predator interstate. A location for the cage trap needs to be flat so it's not rocking around, especially once the critter's inside. Just as importantly, when you think about wind direction. Of course, wind's important for everything we outdoorsmen do. This is uphill. Water's flowing this way, the air's going to flow this way at night when the predator is most active. It's probably a substantial difference in the amount of critters we would catch by having the trap on the upwind side road versus the downwind side road. Remember, most predators find food by their sense of smell, and having up here where thermals will wash that food scent across the road is critical to trap success. Raccoons are opportunists. They eat about anything, but in the winter, they like protein. In the summer, they like sweets, jelly, peanut butter. Those will work in the winter, but a meat smell is much better in the winter. I like to find the smelliest cat food or dog food I can find. It's relatively inexpensive for the volume. I use a little to throw across the road to get their attention and put more of it in the trap. It's really important not just to have the food source in the back of the trap. I'm gonna make a little Hansel and Gretel trail by spreading some across the road just to pique their interest, and then put a larger concentration of food in a can. That's so if it rains, it doesn't dissolve that first night, and put that in the back of the trap. I'll turn it sideways so water doesn't come in, and while they're working the can around, they're gonna step on the pan or the trigger of the trap, be waiting for you in the morning. In addition to collecting fur, I'm after nest predators because I really enjoy turkey hunting, and one of the secrets of catching nest predators is using eggs. So eggs are like one of the perfect things you can put in your trap. They have a smell and they're very visual. I simply toss it in the back behind the trigger, and oftentimes I'll take one and crunch it up a little bit right out front. That white inside the eggshell is very visible, and it puts the critter walking down the road's eyes right here into the trap for the source of food. These Duke cage traps are the perfect tool for introducing youngsters to trapping. There's nothing that's going to hurt you here. Or if you have a deer lease or something where you're only there at the weekends, you can put these, set them, close the door when you leave, open them back up next week, and be ready to catch more nest predators. Trapping has made me a much better hunter because you're constantly looking for sign and the exact location. You know, a deer stand can be 20 yards, or if you're at the gun, 100 yards off and still be successful. But with a trap, it's slowly down to a matter of inches. We'll share more trapping tips and techniques throughout the next few weeks, as I'll be trapping throughout the entire season. Hope you get out and have a chance to set a trap or two or scout some winter food sources for deer. But most importantly, take time to celebrate the real reason of Christmas, and thanks for watching GrowingDeer.tv.